I'm going to tell you everything I know about the Houndsditch Murders and the Sidney Street siege. I talked to my friends about it, all of my friends who are interested in what I do for a living, and none of them had ever heard of the Siege of Sidney Street. And they thought I was talking about the Cable Street thing all the time. And so the more I got into it, the more I understood that it is really an unjustly, it's a footnote in London history, British history. And over the years, as I worked on it, of course there was 7/7, there was Madrid, there were all these events that brought a new relevance, at least to my preoccupied mind, of those events. If you don't know much about it, I can let me give you a quick précis of how the story unfolded in the popular press at the time. This is just the overview, the basic information that Londoners and the people in Britain got was that a gang of anarchists, of foreign anarchists, had broken into a jewelry shop in Houndsditch. This is the guy they thought did it. This is Peter the Painter, Peter Piatko. You've probably seen this before. And he didn't do it. But this is what they circulated. This is what Churchill was told, that this guy was responsible. Peter is fascinating. He's getting slightly ahead of myself, but he's sort of will-o'-the-wisp that to whom legend attached. To give you an idea of what the papers were saying, this will strike a chord because it is so resonant. Now you hear exactly the same sorts of headlines, but if you think about the busts in the East End, or Forest Green, or the Forest Gate, and things like that. So. Listen to these. These are terrific. The Houndsditch Murders, Russians detained at Paddington, then a name Kaplovich, which didn't figure in anything at all. Passengers from Aldgate with tickets for France. This is about a guy one of the guys who got away. This is the Daily Mirror. These are drawings or photographs of the three policemen who were killed, Tucker, Bryant, and Bentley. And this is great. This is like the Forest Green thing. The Stepney Bomb Factory, today's important revelations. And then it has a name, Morantsev, Assassin with the Black Box, Sounds by Night. It was all hugely dramatic, and for a reason. And I found out about it by chance. There was a documentary on Channel 5, I think it was. It's been kicking around for a while. You see it on late night TV. I think it's only about 15 minutes long. But it includes the 4 minutes of contemporaneous footage of sharpshooters in the shops. You've probably seen this, in the shops opposite the Sidney Street flat, and policemen on cardboard in the rain-soaked streets. And it was all very exciting. But the most exciting thing about it, from my point of view, was that there was the story of Peter the Painter, that he was this Kaiser Soze character who just disappeared. And this is when I thought there was a novel in this. Let me read you, what I want to read you is an extract this is partly from an early draft that puts this all in context. The attacks on New York in 2001, Madrid in 2004, and London in 2005, not to mention the pulsing background radiation of terrorist threat, brought to my mind a valuable relevance to this work in progress. What citizens said about the Jews in 1910, they were today saying almost word for word about Muslims. Parallels and contrasts between the Latvian revolutionaries at the beginning of the 20th century and the Islamic extremists at the beginning of the 21st illuminated a single human constant that made the purpose of the book, that is my reason for writing it, even clearer. And this actually was in an earlier draft of the book. Some people's nature allows them to dissolve their conscience in a cause, collapse their grievances and failed expectations of the world into outrages that magnify brutes into martyrs and heroes of the revolution, people who absolve themselves as observant and faithful and feel singled out for special service by a higher power. They're privileged to share a God's eye view or history's eye view of the worthlessness of other human lives and the worthiness of their own. They get out of bed every morning satisfied with their answer to the question of whether the death and destruction they author is noble or criminal, moral or immoral, whether they are builders or wreckers. As for the rest of humanity, the onlookers, well, we are abandoned in the ashes to comprehend the incomprehensible. How on earth did this disaster befall us? And this is the question that we all asked ourselves, certainly after 9/11. How did this happen to us? And certainly here after 7/7. And this was the answer that I chased after through drama, because my instinct, intellectual instinct, was that it's wrong to look to ideologies or religions or loyalties to larger abstracts for answers to that question. The answers, this might be a novelist's answer, but the answers are in the people.